This guy's like some kind of is it the magic cards? I think it was magic.
Yeah,
like
magic,
he's a legend. Like he's won those big old. Like I guess you can win like one of the like big old cards.
Oh yeah.
Like and you make thousands of dollars. Like those things he can sell them on eBay and they sell for like $25,000-$50,000. Like he's won those. Like he's like well known. Like we had no idea. Like he's a smart guy. Like
wow.
But we didn't know he was like this well known magic player.
No,
we're about to.
No, this is how it starts.
Oh, God, I was like, oh shit, are we rolling?
We just kick in and it's just like
we just kind of jump in. We're just like
doing it.
we just kind of go. Welcome to the Local Love Podcast. This is Tony,
Sam,
this is Manny,
Javi,
and we got our guest, Javi here.
Yeah,
Javi from.
So that's how we started.
Yeah. We just kind of we
just
start
throw it
talking
in
and then
there.
we start randomly.
Cool. Okay, that's okay. However you want to do it.
Yeah, we just like to do it on the fly of our seat. Like sometimes we'll just be talking about random stuff and then we just throw it in.
Hey, what's up, man? Yeah.
It kind of started off the first time. Like I guess I thought we were ready and I started it off and like Sam was like, "You started?" I was like, "I just did the intro." And so now the whole thing has been every time I just randomly start the intro.
we just randomly started.
What's up, everybody? Like, oh shit. Like here we are. Here we go.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
So Javi, you're from Atomic Toys?
Yeah, man. Atomic Toys and More here in San Antonio.
Where are you guys based out of?
We're based out on the northeast side, right there by Fort Sam base. Ritterman Road, right there, Ritterman and Harry Wurzbach. That's been our location for like the last 4 years, bro.
Okay.
It's been great, man. I mean, it's a great community. We're right there by the military. We're kind of hidden. We're kind of in the city. You know what I'm saying? We're close enough to 35 where people can traveling up and down 35. They can find us, just on and we get a lot of people coming from Austin, coming up from Laredo. We get a lot of people passing through, cool. and they're on 35, so they'll just like random, just look for like a comic shop or toy shop, and then it's like, oh shit, those guys are right off 35. We're like 5 minutes away. We're not, we're not paying the highway prices. You know what I'm saying? Like to have a store facing a highway is ridiculous. I mean, it's impossible, bro. So I mean, we're tucked away enough where people can spot us right off. Oh shit, there they are, and then they'll come and check us out, dude.
Nice.
It's great, man. It's a great community right there. Terrell Hills, Alamo Heights, East Terrell Hills, all that area, man. It's and then the military. Fort Sam got a lot of military people, man. So it's great. It's great.
Over there.
Yeah. Terrell Hill, all that. 78209 is the area code. Yeah.
So you've been in business 4 years?
4 years, man. I've been doing it, and still learning, man. I mean, 4 years. It feels like I learn something new all the time, man. I mean. You think you know a lot about toys and vintage toys and comics, and then you get into the business. You're like, oh shit, I didn't know anything. Because there's so much guys. I've been doing it 4 years, but I've been setting up at like little shows and local shows for like since the 90s. I'd set up a table and take some stuff to sell. And that was kind of like a weekend. I was a weekend warrior.
Okay.
And then I decided like we wanted to do a business, man. My wife and I, and so. They were putting up this office building right by where we live, and so we saw them. Hey, now leasing commercial space. I was like, hey, maybe this is a good time, man. And we walked in, and we got a good spot, man. I was like, okay, well, let's do this, So
you always got good stuff there too.
I appreciate it, man.
Man. So you started the business 4 years ago. What were you doing before that?
I was a teacher, man.
Really? Okay.
Teacher, man.
What kind of teacher? What did you teach?
I taught at a private school. So I taught music, and I taught computer technology, and I taught theology.
Nice.
Yeah. My degree's in music, but I'm certified.
What'd you teach in music? What exactly?
Just general knowledge. General music.
I minored in theology for like I think a semester or two, and then I was like, I'm good.
There's so much reading, man.
You sound like Crawl
it's horrible.
Son-in-law.
I shouldn't say horrible, but it's so much reading, man. I mean, is that what got you the reading?
No, I just realized I was like, I don't remember why. I was like, I was looking at minoring in it, and then I was like, no, I'm all right. I'm just gonna double major in the business I was doing. I can read on the side. I don't need minor in it.
It's a lot of reading, man. Music is, music's a lot of. It's writing too, but it's a lot. You're performing. It's a lot of performance. Mm-hmm. You pick an instrument and stuff. Theology is a lot of. It's just.
So I feel like you're like the third or fourth teacher we've had on here, and I always think like that's. And what was funny is I went to a home welcoming party last weekend, and it was a friend of mine, and she's a teacher, so all her friends are teachers, and it's like I was like, talking to them, and I was like, you guys should be the most entrepreneur people because they don't pay you guys enough money.
Oh yeah,
like you have to have a second hustle to survive as a teacher. Like I just don't understand.
Yeah,
like, and a private school,
it's terrible.
It's more of like a private school is more of like a ministry than anything, man. I mean, private school they pay even less in a lot of instances,
Yeah.
But the parents are great. Kids are great. It's a smaller community, and that's why I liked it, man. You know what I'm saying? And so,
well, I definitely think a lot of teachers do it for the love of it and stuff like
that. They have to. They're not doing it for the money.
No.
Get rich.
Yeah, no. Well, I got there and I made a joke and I don't think it landed well, and I was like, I probably gotta move on.
Say the joke.
So I walked in. Well, it wasn't really a joke. It was just more of I walked in and the real estate agent, because she was the one throwing it, so it was natural for her to. She was doing her hustle. She was just trying to make connections.
Right.
And she was like, "Oh, so you're a teacher too?" I was like, "No, I don't like kids and I like money." That didn't land too well. It was with a room of teachers and the whole room was in the record screech. I was like, all right, well, that was my show. I'm out for today.
Everybody had their cups just staring like that.
Destroyed their whole career.
That was it, man.
But then I was talking with them and I was like, man, you guys have to come with like some side hustles. Like you guys have to come up.
The thing is that being a teacher, there's so much that goes. It's not just the teaching. It's preparing the lesson. It's contacting parents. It's emailing parents. It's getting the lesson plan together. Grades.
Dealing with kids.
Dealing with kids and dealing with, and then progress reports and entering in grades and lesson plans and getting that together and then making sure you're teaching according to the standards, right? The state standards.
Well, that's what I mean. I say
so much.
I say it to them, and as I'm talking with them, I say it in a way of like more of. Yeah. I agree. Teachers should be paid more. Like if we're actually worried about our education and trying to get kids educated, like you should be paid more. Or if not, people should be understanding why teachers aren't reachable. Yeah. Because if I was a teacher, I would check out at 3:00 and I'm gonna go do my second job. So I can survive.
You have no idea how many parents are emailing you like at 8:00 in the evening, wanting an answer. Like, hey, well, I want this. Like, no, you're not doing. I'm not gonna message you back until tomorrow. So they get to school. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's the weirdest. Like it's supposed to be our top priority, yet we pay the worst.
We care about education. It's so important, but it's always the first of budget cuts. It's always the first,
exactly.
Yeah. It's always the first budget cut, right?
Exactly.
Sheesh,
so I think I make more than teachers.
You probably do. Most people do.
You know what I was gonna say though is like most people should have side hustles anyways. Like I was like talking to this one guy. He was making good money, and I was like, "Oh, are you investing in it?" He was like, "That's the most I've ever made." I was like, "Are you investing in anything, or are you like trying to do anything?" He's like, "Hold on to it." He's like, "Well, yeah, no, I was making." He's like, "What I'm doing, I could take my kids to Disney," and I was like, "Nah, dude." Like,
well, that's the thing. When we're like a lot of people, when you're taught, I think if you come from like, depending on the background, especially in America, I feel like it's a little different in some other places, but like in America, the thing is, if you make enough money, you spend it on things, right? You buy your house, you buy you buy nice clothes, you buy the nice car and things like that. But you don't look at it as assets. Like a house is an asset. That's something like you buy and then like you try to either pay it off or at least get
it's gonna appreciate.
And then you look at buying another asset and you look at it as, if I'm selling my house, okay, let me reinvest that money into something else. Most people will sell their house and then they use the extra to go on a big trip, which there's nothing wrong with big trips. It's just a matter of like reinvesting and creating wealth. Right, I think if you look at rich people, they created wealth
all the time.
That's the stuff that just keeps making them money, and I think
that's what I was trying to explain to him too, because he was like, "Did you mean Bitcoin and stuff like that?" I'm like, "No, man, just like whatever, like something that will constantly make you money, just in case you don't have that job forever."
Yeah,
well, I have guys coming in and they're buying my high end. I mean, hey, there's commodities everywhere, man. You know.
Yeah.
And I have guys coming in and buying my high end comics, man. I had the first appearance of Black Panther, Fantastic 452. I had it graded.
Damn.
And it was a guy came in and bought it, man, and he wanted it. He bought my first appearance of Galactus. He's military, and and he says he's putting him in a safe. He's putting him in a safe, and he's got a little toddler daughter and two kids they're not even in school yet. But he goes, but when they get older, like I'm gonna hand them that Fantastic 450. You want a car? Here's your car. Go sell it and go get a car. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Or my daughter. Like, say she gets older and her and her husband, buy a house or whatever, and they want to expand. They want to put another house. They want to put another, like a deck or something like that. Here, go sell this comic.
Yeah.
Get your deck. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's building, like, he's got a safe in his house, and he's building. I would say he's probably got about 15, like, grails. And we're talking grail that are just going to go. X-Men #1. He's got, I mean, X-Men #1, first appearance of Galactus, first appearance of Silver Surfer, first Black Panther, giant size X-Men. He's got, I mean, Batman Raza. He's got keys in there, like
he got
that
giant size X-Men.
Giant size X-Men.
That's when they relaunched it, right?
Yeah. That's the first appearance of Rogue, Colossus,
Yep.
second appearance of Wolverine, or like second or third appearance of Wolverine. It's an early appearance, so that book has really gone up recently.
Wow.
The X-Men one, is that the one that Magneto actually has like little horns?
Yeah, the first
right?
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of his back. It just
those
has
are dope.
It shows his back in the
Even
first,
that-
and they're all jumping in. Yeah.
And then the Black Panther is gonna go really. I mean, like
They've all been, all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic Four #52 is the first appearance of Black Panther, and that one is
that one's gonna go
quadrupled
really
in the
high.
last, few years.
So what are we
you know?
talking here in value, man? I just want to know. I gotta ask the question.
Okay,
man.
yeah.
What we talking here in price wise?
Let me see. So that one was graded. That one was graded a 5.5. I sold it to him for $1,200, and that one, by the time his daughter's age is probably going to be, $10,000-$15,000.
Yeah,
probably.
especially because you got to think about like so. Marvel's already coming out with the new
All the
Fantastic
phases,
Four.
Yeah. They couldn't even go up. I mean,
Yeah,
honestly.
the Black Panther
Yeah.
is just a big hit on Marvel. Like, so the names are getting bigger. So when the names get bigger, those comic books
The more
go
and then
higher.
the more the demand comes for those, and there's not that many. There's however many, like, they're not printing anymore. However many Fantastic Four 52s are out there, that's it.
Yeah.
So you can only lose some. You know what I'm saying? Some are gonna
Yeah.
get lost, they're gonna get burned,
Yeah,
destroyed.
whatever, yeah.
They're only gonna get smaller and smaller,
Yeah,
less
yeah,
and less,
yeah,
because
yeah,
people,
yeah, yeah.
some people
Yeah.
have them graded, some don't.
Yeah.
So they're gonna get damaged in floods. They're gonna get burned, and God forbid, but they're gonna get
Yeah.
burned in house fires.
Anything.
They're gonna get
Yeah. Anything.
So it's only gonna get more rare. Those books are only
Yeah.
gonna get more rare. So like those books, and then let's say in 15 or like when his daughter gets older, let's say there's another like market surge on those books. Well, the sky's the limit, man. I mean,
Yeah.
you're talking 20, 30,000, 40,000. I mean, a
I think
Hulk.
it's all subjective too. You
It's
know.
all Hulk #1 right now. If you can find a raw copy of the first appearance of the Incredible Hulk, which is Hulk #1, 1964, I think it's like 63. You're talking 40 grand. $50,000 for a nice clean copy,
What the
raw,
hell?
not even graded, nothing. As long as the staples are attached, still. You're
Shut
talking 40 grand.
up.
I heard the
40,
Spider-
50 grand, man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man
I
for
heard
Amazing
the first-
Fantasy.
Yeah.
Amazing Fantasy 15, the first appearance of Spider-Man. He's swinging on a web. He's coming into the picture. 1960, same thing, 63, 62, 63.
Yeah.
You're talking anywhere from 60 to 100 grand for a nice, clean, raw copy. Graded? Nah, you're talking.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Wow.
you can get a beat up copy like a 1.0 for like 20 grand right now. Like a beat the
Shut
shit
up.
copy. It looks like you just, stepped on it and encapsulated it. That's 20 grand. Easy right now.
Wow.
Even like I heard like when Deadpool the first one came out, the first movie.
Yeah.
Like he just skyrocketed.
Skyrocketed. And here's the thing, like you talked about the market, right? Like the supply and demand, or it's a subjective.
Yeah.
Deadpool, that comic is New Mutants 98, which is his first appearance.
Yeah.
That comic was, back in the 90s, it was a $20 comic, $25, New Mutants 98. Now it's $300, $350, $400 for a raw copy.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Harley Quinn, same thing.
Yeah.
Batman Adventures #12, 1994.
It's crazy.
That comic.
I think
Yeah.
a lot of our markets are subjective. It's all about a matter if you can find someone that values it enough.
Exactly.
to
It's,
pay
it's
it.
only worth
Yeah.
it's only worth what somebody's willing to pay for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever the highest value,
But
whatever the
that's
highest
how
bidder.
the shop is.
Yeah.
Run.
But it's
That's how
crazy.
the barber shop is.
But it's
That's it, bro.
It's crazy how, I don't know. It's just crazy how one little thing can trigger it, right? They just bring these people out in
One
a
movie.
movie or something, and then all of a sudden, like most people didn't know Black Panther.
Oh no.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, or Deadpool,
Or Deadpool either. Yeah.
Or the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the one. That's the one.
They got a new movie coming out.
That's
I
the one
just
that
saw the
blows me
trailer.
away.
That movie looks.
That,
dope.
Yeah.
That's what like nobody even cared about the like who
Nah,
cares
who
about the
cares?
Guardians of the
Yeah.
Galaxy, like, and those aren't even the original Guardians. I think the only original Guardian of the Galaxy from the comics in the 70s is Yondu. He's the only original one. Star-Lord comes along later.
They killed him off.
Yeah. Star-Lord comes along later. Rocket comes along way later. Drax comes along later. Like they come along way later on in the storyline. Early.
Wait, Star-Lord, they kill him off in the comic, or you mean in the movie? That I missed in the movie.
Yondu. They killed him off
Yondu.
in the movie.
Yeah, Yondu. Yeah, they killed him off.
But,
in the movie.
Wait, which one is he in the movie?
He's the one with he's the blue guy with the
Okay,
blue
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah. Okay, now I know. Yeah.
But
That's crazy. Well, I think it's just all how they made it, right? I mean, you got the right, you got the right cast to do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then plus you got to have the writing, the right cast. You know, Chadwick Boseman was perfect for Black Panther. I mean,
I loved him before he became Black Panther. And when he came out as Black, I was like,
but Robert Downey Jr. perfect for Iron Man. You got to get the right casting, and then you got to get the right good writing, directing, and you got to get a good story,
all of it,
cinematography, and it's all got to come together, and that's how you get a good. And that's why I feel like DC's missing the mark right now, man. DC. I don't know what's going on with DC right now, man.
Jared Leto, not so much.
You know, I think they missed it with Black Adam. You know, I don't know what they're trying. I don't know.
I haven't seen Black Adam, but
a lot of people
trash.
It's
trash.
A lot of people. I don't know what they're doing.
Trash.
And I'm a DC guy. I'm a DC. I'm DC through and through, man. I mean,
I think one of the problems
Batman
with
vs
DC,
Superman, trash.
Yeah.
Well, the problem with DC is
Suicide Squad was pretty good though.
Now that was
good.
The second one
was good. Yeah.
And
but
then
that's because
Justice
they got
League.
Jason. Is it Jason or James? Jason Gunn, the director.
He
did Guardians of the Galaxy.
So now
he did Suicide Squad.
That's
why it has that same format.
Okay.
And then you had John Cena, Idris Elba. You had Sylvester Stallone as King Shark.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty good. That was good.
That was a really good one.
And then they're making another one. They got the other Suicide Squad.
Oh, do they? Oh, okay.
He just took over all of DC. They gave him full power, so he's leaving Marvel and going to DC.
They paid him a lot of money, man. But he's a big fan of which hypes me up. He's a big fan of like the Justice League Dark stuff. Yeah. James Gunn is real good about taking like these obscure characters and bringing them out to the front, like Rocket Raccoon and Drax, and you know what I'm saying, like Star. Nobody knew who Star-Lord was. Nobody cared. But he brought them and made them like marquee characters. That's what I'm hoping he's gonna do with like Zatanna and Deadman and Swamp Thing. And I mean, I'm a big Swamp Thing guy, and bring them all out.
I feel like you seem like you're pretty vested in this, man. Like you seem like you're pretty,
I was hoping that Black Adam was gonna be good because the simple fact is that leads the way to the Justice League Dark.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which is Swamp Thing and which is Zatanna, Deadman, John Constantine, like that stuff. That is who I want to see next.
But that's but it was something we were talking about earlier, and I think because you were just saying like he's really into all this stuff. Man. Yeah. But a lot of this is because this also drives your business, right?
Yeah,
as this stuff,
you kind of have to.
Like if you know, like I don't know your industry that well, but my assumption would be if you know something's down the line and you're looking at it, if you buy it lower and then it shoots up, well, now you got yourself a deal, right? Like if you know, like they're like Swamp Thing may be coming out. I had no idea Swamp Thing's coming out, but you're probably up on that.
I would love it.
So if you start finding Swamp Thing collections right now before it goes up,
Swamp Thing.
Then once it goes up, because then all of a sudden everyone wants vintage of whatever.
Well, Swamp Thing, his first appearance is House of Secrets '92, and that is already like a Grail. That's a Grail book. That's just. Anybody watching that knows comic books, they know House of Secrets '92 is a Grail. It's just one of the upper echelon comics. So that's already set in stone. Yeah. But like all that other stuff, so out of the Swamp Thing stories, you get John Constantine. Yeah. So Keanu Reeves already said he's doing the Constantine movie.
Yeah.
So is he doing another one?
He's already said. They've been asking him. He's been trying to get it done. He loves Constantine. He's a huge fan.
I thought the first one was really good.
I thought it was good.
That's one of the movies I can watch again and again.
That was an excellent
That's what
movie.
DC is. Like it's supposed to be a darker.
It's darker.
Comics,
yes. They're trying to copy Marvel, and it just doesn't work, man.
That's what I keep saying.
DC is not Marvel, dude. I mean, like when you see the Joker movies, what the heck? You know, like wow. I mean, Batman Returns, The Dark Knight. Yeah, like that's DC, man. Yeah. Heath Ledger stuff. It's not nice. It's not. Yeah. It's not for kids. You know, Marvel, DC, and Marvel, Disney. I get it. Right? It's kid friendly and little jokes, little kids running around. Yeah. DC is not like that, man. They're trying to make it. And it's not, dude. Don't try to. DC is not, dude.
Yeah, I remember I was reading Odyssey. I think it was Odyssey Crisis. I forgot what it was.
Okay.
I think it was that one.
Infinite Crisis?
No, it was an Odyssey
Afterwards.
something.
Okay.
And it's like where they get the equation. What is it? The equation of death or something like that. Okay. And someone actually solves it, and so. Like the Justice League has to stop him.
Okay.
And Green Lanterns he gets too cocky and he tries to stop and he destroys the whole planet and kills billions of people. And the guy, Manhunter, was there trying to help him, and he gets pissed off, and like this dude's like all suicidal now, like Green Lantern.
Yeah.
And it was like one of the it was like dark for me because I was reading it and like he has a gun to his head, and then Manhunter, without like any emotions, just like, if you're gonna do it, do it.
Yeah,
just
I remember that.
I was like, oh crap! Like
they're standing.
That's a comic
in
book.
space.
Like,
they're in space, and he's like standing there. Yeah.
He has the gun to his head, and he has no remorse for Green Lantern.
Remember they found Green Lantern. This is the 80s, man.
Yeah,
Green Lantern.
this
Remember his
80s,
wife?
yeah.
They found her like she was killed and thrown in the fridge. Like her body was thrown in the refrigerator. Like this is Marvel in the 80s. I mean, this is DC in the 80s, guys.
No one will read Green Lantern anymore after Ryan Reynolds movie.
Yeah.
If you read Green Lantern, I think Hal Jordan, his first, like his wife. I mean, she is. Yeah, I'm sorry. Jon Stewart. Sorry. She's killed, man. She's killed and thrown in a freezer, man. He discovers her. He comes home, opens the thing, and there's her body in there. Like it's just one of the more like traumatizing scenes. And then remember the Joker beats up Robin with a crowbar. He just smashes his skull. And crushes it in. Yeah,
it's called Death in the Family, right?
Death in the Family. Yeah. And there was nothing like that, dude. I mean, Marvel.
But that's what DC needs to do with their movies, because like people, they're trying to get the kids, but the kids are already addicted to Marvel. You might as well just try to get adults to go and see DC, and you'll have a.
I think the worst thing that Marvel ever did was give Tony Stark a drinking problem. That was it. Like that was it. He was an alcoholic in the late 70s, early 90s, early 80s.
Early 80s, yeah.
But DC it's like death, man. You can like. Heads being chopped off and bodies
died.
Alfred dies.
Died in there.
Alfred's died a few times.
Yeah.
They broke his neck about 4 years ago. Bane just cracks it. I mean, Wow. It's the City of Bane. Yeah, that was a good run.
So what got you into the vintage toys? Like what?
I was just about to ask that. Like, what got you into that?
Collecting little, man. You know when I was little, we didn't have anything, man. You know, I mean, we didn't have. I mean, my parents were both were middle class. Probably said below, we weren't. And I these are all the toys I would look through the catalogs and I would want, and my parents did what they could to get us. So I savored every little one I had and I played with it and stuff. But all those other ones I wanted, I was like, man, I always wanted them, and I always told myself, when I get older, I'm gonna get that when I can, and I did. So I think that's what's driving a lot of the market now. Is like a lot of these guys are growing older. They got their own money. They got their own families.
I'm one of them.
And everything they wanted when they were little that they couldn't get, for some reason, other parents, just couldn't afford it. Now we're like, oh, we're getting that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna build this huge room with everything that I wanted. And so I mean, with vintage toys, I've seen them kind of evolve into like a commodity now. Like they're like investments now. To go from getting them to play with or getting them to actual like finding them in boxes and getting them graded and actually looking at them like people are investing in them. You know what I'm saying? It's a huge market. This grading action figures. You know what I'm saying? I found in my collection. This lady brought me a Star Wars collection, and in the bag it was a Toys R Us white plastic bag. And there was a bunch of figures in there, and she brought me some Star Wars stuff. And she said her husband and her they collected for years since the 70s, but her husband had passed away, and she was selling off the estate, And so there was a complete 1979 Millennium Falcon, 100% complete. The Death Star playset, which is this big, complete 100%.
Damn.
But then there was a Luke Skywalker in there, and Luke Skywalker, I don't know if you remember him, he had the lightsaber that came out of his hand.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the first edition, the first ones that shipped out, not only did he have a lightsaber that came out of his hand, there was a little point to it. Remember that? I don't remember that. You could get that point and pull it out. It was called a telescoping lightsaber. So it's the lightsaber stopped at a certain point, and then you could take that little bitty piece of plastic, and you could pull it out to make his lightsaber even longer.
Oh wow!
And Kenner realized that this is a stupid idea because it's flawed. It's going to break.
Yeah.
It's a safety hazard. So they stopped making them. So this lady, and they're very desirable, very collectible. I got the Luke Skywalker and his little. So a lot of times the lightsaber that comes out of his hand, it's a little, a yellow piece, and then it has a little point, like a little peak that comes out, a little piece of plastic. But it was gone. And a lot of times what people did was they cut them or they bit them off, or whatever. It's like, oh man, it's missing. I just saw the little nub, and I got the little nub, and I pulled it out. I said, this is a double telescoping lightsaber. So that day, I had one of my guys come in. He offered me $2,000 for it, right then and there, $2,000. And I said, no, I'm not gonna sell it. That's how valuable. Next to the rocket firing Boba Fett, double telescoping lightsabers are probably one of the most valuable, coveted by Star Wars collectors. And basically, all it is it's a little piece of plastic that extends past like the lightsaber. It comes out and you pull it out. It's a little piece of plastic that extends it. It makes the lightsaber look like a sword almost, kind of. And they call it double telescoping because one part comes out and then the second part comes out. So after that, they just made the one part that comes out and then with a little piece of plastic. It doesn't do anything. Damn. But that first one will come out and then the second piece would be pulled out. So that, I had a guy that came to the store and he's one of my Star Wars guys. And I said, yeah, but they make fakes of those. You got to be careful. It isn't anything. They make fakes. I took the lightsaber out. I took pictures of it, the little piece of orange, the little yellow plastic. Yeah. And I said, it looks real, man. I mean, the little mold breaks and stuff. I know it looks. So my buddy sent it to his friend, the picture to his friend in New York. And his friend in New York said, whatever he's asking, buy it. Whatever your friend is asking for it, just buy it. I said, no, I'm not going to sell him. I said, he showed me the text. It's like, the guy told me, whatever you're asking, he goes, for me just to buy it from me. I was like, I'm not selling it. I'm not going to sell it. There's the Luke Skywalker. Obi-Wan Kenobi also had a telescoping lightsaber, but the most rare one is the Darth Vader double telescoping lightsaber.
Oh, wow.
That one, there's probably less than 100 of those out there.
What's the average?
Anytime those go up for sale, they're usually about $20,000. Anytime those go 20 to 25,000 if they ever come up, which they hardly ever come up. But they come up in these big auctions.
Damn.
So that $20,000, and the toy's probably like what, like?
Yeah, it's a 3 3/4 inch figure.
Oh yeah, nah.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's insane. Yeah. And collectors, I mean, it's just I've never seen a lot of Star Wars collectors, like enthusiasts and purists. They've never even seen one up close. Yeah, you're talking about guys that have been collecting since the '80s. They've never held one in their hand. Wow. A double telescoping lightsaber. Like that's how rare they are. Like it's hard to find them. These guys and these hardcore guys. It's yeah.
That's so where do you typically go find like
the bull guy or
vintage stores?
You know, so the one of the big advantages to having your store is that people bring stuff to you.
Okay,
that's probably the big advantage. Okay. Because I know guys that are weekend warriors like I used to be, and you get tips here and there. Hey man, my brother-in-laws, friends, neighbors, the guy who walks his dog, he's got a collection. So there you go, hunting people down, hunting this guy down. It's still fun to go to, sometimes people's houses, to go check out and stuff, like a garage find, which I've had a few of those. But most of the time, people just bring it to me. They'll look you up in the phone book, and they toys, boom. Hey man, you buy toys? I sure do. What do you have? And they're like, well, man, I've got my dad's collection. It's a bunch. It's like a whole box full of, 1980s G.I. Joes and 70s Star Wars figures, and they bring them on down, Yeah. But if it's like newer stuff, it's a kind of a hit or miss, new stuff. I tend to stay away from stuff. A lot of stuff you can find in the store still. It's just, you can find it still. 7. You can go to Walmart and buy it, But definitely vintage is where it's at. Vintage. Old mask toy, Turtles, Ninja Turtles, Star Wars, Transformers,
SWAT Cats, right?
SWAT Cats, SWAT Cats is another one. A lot of these toys that are valuable now, they were the ones that did one wave, one and done. They went right into the clearance bin. Yeah. Nobody gave a damn about those toys, man. Now everybody wants them. A lot of them.
What about Barbie?
Barbie, the 60s Barbies are expensive. Some of the accessory sets from the 60s are really expensive. Some of those dresses, some of the little. So you have the first Barbie, of course, and then those early Barbies. What's the can? Of course, Barbie can. Yeah. Some of the other girls that came out, they did some other ones. Oh, I forgot the names. The other girls they did that were like not Gidget. It was some other like little names of Barbies. Yeah. But they have to be an original box. Collectors are very picky. Barbie collectors are very nitpicky. The box has to be nice to get that top dollar. If not, I mean, the only Barbie that sells like for big money outside of a box is Barbie number 1. But every other Barbie that came after that to get, they can range into 1,000, 2,000, but the box has to be perfect.
How much does the number 1 go for?
Well, the Barbie 1, if you can find her, she's at least 500 to 1,000, like out of the box. We're talking just, just out of the box. on a stand by herself, no accessories, no nothing, $500 to $1,000, just depending on how the makeup is. If you know what I'm saying, if her skin is clean, the hair is clean. You're talking at least anywhere from $500 to $1,500, anywhere in there. Just condition is everything.
And like a perfect number one
in a box. Talking 10 to 15,000 probably. If the box is clean, you got all the accessories like a little brush and the little pieces that came with there. Yeah. And they're all in the original box. Yeah. If it's a mid box, 10 to 15,000 probably. You're talking around there.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice. And so Barbie collectors are just they're really picky. But after the first Barbie came out in the 60s, I think 61. 59. I think it was 1959, 58, 59. She came out. They came out with these little accessory like dresses and like little. And those are expensive. Like some of those are really pricey. Some of those little they came out with like the little dresses and uniform. I think they were. But cool. Some of those are expensive. Yeah, those Barbie collectors are. It's a whole other culture, man.
It's a culture. It looks like. Well,
before we jump into some more questions, there's a segue into the tip part. So I think one, we wanted to give a grooming tip and then also a small business tip from you as well. So I guess Sammy, you want to start with the grooming tip for this episode?
Yeah, I was going to talk about just like shaping up, like, because I shape up his beard and even the goatee. I just shaped up your goatee and everything. It's like, so like one of my clients, he went to Sally's and he got bad information from them. One, they're like, oh, don't wash your face. Like they try to treat his face like his hair.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And so he was like, I'm getting a lot of dry skin. I was like, yeah, you got to shampoo that. You got to condition it. And he was like, I was like, yeah. And I was like, are you putting oil? He's like, well, they told me just like every once in a while. I was like, nah, like if you're drying up, you put oil every single day. It's just like moisturizer, like because the oil's not for the beard itself; it's for the skin. And then the shaping up, like you want it to have it a natural look, but not like a crazy look. You want it like you want groomed, but like natural, where when it grows in, it doesn't look too crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, because there's guys they'll shape up someone's beard and then it's like the growth back in, it's not really that well. So like taking care of your skin is really important, like on your face. Like I have to use like a very oily because I get dried up. So I use the oil base. Like I got that from Lush, which I always get stuff from Lush. Like that's and like make sure you're washing your beard, because I was like I got like I was just like dude was just like it looks like it's snowing,
it's flaking,
and I'm like use that oil, and he's like, well, she told me not to use it. I'm like, man, if you're drying up, you use it every single day. Just like if you're dried up every single day, you moisturize every single day.
Nice.
And like make sure that you're always edged up, man, because you're just gonna look like a caveman. Make sure you edge it up right.
I mean, typically the flakes is the sign of the body telling you you're a little too
right.
Because it happens to all of us. Like even like some because I use the sea salt spray on my hair.
Yeah.
And so like I could tell when like my head's starting to dry up, and I'm like, all right, I gotta condition a little more, get some oil on there or something. Like that's typically a sign there. Like, hey, you need to condition a little more.
Yeah. Well, he had asked me. He was like, what am I doing wrong? Because like. And I don't know how to say this without being too mean, but a lot of times people at Sally's, they just get hired. They don't really know hair like that. They just they might know what the product does, but they don't really know. Like, because they're not cutting your hair. They're not
like hairdressers. They're not
exactly.
Beauticians, right? They're,
so like, they'll give you information and it's totally way off. Because I was just like, yeah, dude, no, like you shampoo, man. Use like he's like, how much? I was like, use it every other day, man. If especially because like for him, he works a lot where he sweats, so you got to take off all that dirt because that's gonna irritate your skin too.
Yeah.
So like, I was like, so you should probably do it every day, because if you're sweating that much, you want to take it out.
Yeah.
And like, condition it. I would condition hair every single day. That's what I do with my hair. Like, and I have to use bar shampoo. I don't use like regular shampoo.
Liquid shampoo?
Yeah, I don't use liquid at all. I use it. I get it from Lush again, and I scrub it a little bit, and man, my scalp's been loving it. Like I hardly have dandruff, and I'm a dude that always like dries up on my scalp. So like, just figure out what you need, and if you're oily, get something that's gonna, strip the oils more. If you're more dry, get something that's gonna moisturize it more. Like, and that's what your beard like. That's not even talking about your hair here. It's just talking about here, like, cause
dry skin.
Yeah, because we tend to think like it's kind of different, and it is different because most people's beard is thicker than your hair up here. Yeah. But you gotta treat your skin the way that you would like. No. I mean, when you're shaved and you're all like, however your skin is here, like up here, is probably gonna be the same.
On here. Definitely.
Oh, so cool. Like, yeah. No. Cool. That's the tip that I got for today.
Cool. Yeah. All right. What about our small business tip?
Small business tip. I'll tell you what, man. What I would probably start. Number one would be know your product. Yeah. You got to know it. You got to know your product. I get so many people coming to me that want to start. They're toy enthusiasts. And they're collectors, right? But there's a big difference between being a collector and then being in the business of toys, man. Yeah. And so I tell them, know your product, man. They come to me and they're like, yeah, man, I was looking at this the Star Wars collection, and I don't know, it's just the guy told me, he told me a price, and I was like, okay, well, what is this? Is it vintage? Is it new stuff? I don't know. It's a bunch of figures. Oh boy, because you're talking a big difference between. Yeah. You're talking a big difference between a 1977 Luke Skywalker and a 1997 Luke Skywalker. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Talking a difference of like $25, man, for the figure. So you better know your business, know your product, and then learn your business. Learn comps, learn what things value, what they're going for, what they're trending, and number two, do something you love, man. I mean, because honestly, your side hustle. Or your business or whatever, if you're looking for something like some other income, some other sort of income coming in, you make sure it's something you love, because you're gonna have to research it, man. I love toys, I love figures, I love comic books, I love that stuff. So I mean, I'd love to indulge myself in the culture and just researching comps and what they go for, what they're valued for, what they were. And the different kinds of toys. I had a guy in my store today. I have a Optimus Prime 1985, and we were talking about it, and we were kind of exchanging notes. He's like, yeah, because the first one, the Takara one, you take off and you open the leg. You see the leg. See that there's a little number 2 in there. That's the first version. But if you go over here to the trailer, it's got a number 3. That's the second version. So you put these. So I was like, oh, okay, all right. Well, how many versions are there? He's like, well, there's 7 versions, and there's 15 in total from 1981 to 1900. Okay. So we work. So yeah. So and I love that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you don't love it, you're like, oh God, here we go. Okay. Yeah. Then you're probably in the wrong business. You know what I'm saying? So find something you love. Know your product, find something you love, and just learn the business, man.
Nice.
And that's learning what things sell for. That's what they go for. How much, because you know how much to pay and how much you can sell it for. And don't be crazy with your prices and price it accordingly.
So, appreciate that. That's definitely a good tip. Definitely know your product, service, or whatever you're trying to get into.
You have to know your product, man. You gotta love it too. You have to love it, man. I love toys. I love action figures. I love them, and so I don't mind researching and diving into the different kinds and manufacturers and stuff. So, yeah, man.
So, couple more things. So, I know you mentioned, we talked about the Luke Skywalker, but what's the holy grail of vintage toys?
Well, there's a couple. Probably the holy grail of all vintage toys is probably the rocket-firing Boba Fett action figure. There's probably 10 that exist. It was a prototype. So what happened is that there's a lot of urban myths about this. The actual story is that Kenner was a small company, and George Lucas had the licensing to Star Wars back in 77, right? So they're getting ready to make the movie. They want to merchandise it. They want to make some more money. So nobody was interested. Hasbro, they didn't really care about it. Mattel, they weren't interested. It's gonna be a crappy movie anyway. It doesn't look that the reviews weren't too promising. Kenner was this little bitty toy company out of like an office building in the Midwest, and they're like, let's go see if we can just pitch it and see if we can, get it. I think we have a real shot at getting the rights to making these figures. So they did, and they went in. George Lucas was like, all right, man, so what's your first thing? Well, we're not going to make big dolls. We're going to make smaller figures. We're going to make them little. Because at the time, what was hot were the G.I. Joes. Remember those 12-inch dolls?
Yeah.
And you get, from Japan, you were getting these, the
China.
gung-ho, the Shogun,
Ultraman.
Ultraman. So they were like 12-inch figures.
Yeah.
So those were toys. Like, Kenner's like, no, we're going to cut costs. We're going to make them cheaper. We're going to make little figures, little toys.
Change the whole game.
And it changed the game, but George Lucas liked this. Like, okay, I dig it. I like your ideas. All right, we'll do it. Let's go with it. So when they started developing all these toys and stuff like that, they developed a rocket-firing Boba Fett. So the prototype, it never went into production, but there were several examples. What happened was that there was a little rocket, the little piece of plastic that went in his backpack. You hit a button and it would shoot out. It would shoot, right? Well, what happened was that Battlestar Galactica at the same time had a toy line which was pretty successful. And they had on one of their ships, it was like a spaceship, had a rocket firing. One of the rockets got lodged in a little kid's mouth, and the kid wound up dying. Oh, so Kenner saw this, and we're stopping this. We're not having any kind of projectile. They're like, screw that. So unfortunately, like that little boy with the Battlestar Galactica ship, the little boy choked on the piece, and of course, he didn't make it. So Kenner saw that and said, no, so they stopped production. The only thing that they ever made were the 10 or 15 prototypes of that Boba Fett. Boba Fett, the character from Star Wars, right? Yeah. So they're unpainted, and though they were literally just at the Kenner factory, and some of them were given to Kenner, production designers. The only way to get one is to be at the Kenner factory that day. Right. You want them, you can have them.
Yeah.
So now they're averaging anywhere from 100 to 150,000.
So there's only like 10 of them.
There's only 10 or 12. Yeah.
So I'm trying to remember because my Star Wars, I like Star Wars, but my Star Wars.
Yeah.
How did they? Because I'm trying to remember, was Boba Fett in the first one? He came out very early in the first one, right? And in the second one, they already had killed him.
No, Boba Fett didn't come out
to the second one, right?
Christmas.
Yeah.
Actually,
there was a Christmas special that came out between Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
A Christmas special.
I think I do remember hearing about the Christmas special. Is that where
Christmas
Boba Fett?
special? That's when Boba Fett first came out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say because in the second one, he just he's in there quickly and dies off, right?
No, he captures Solo.
Yeah. Okay. He comes out in the second one. Yeah. The first one. So remember, after the first movie, George Lucas really made no plans to write a second movie.
Yeah.
It was like this, and then as it was such a big, huge commercial success, it was like Paramount was like, okay. Let's go. Make another one. Give us another one. 20th Century Fox. Sorry, 20th Century. Yeah. 20th Century was like, hey, write another one. It's like, oh, shit, now I got to write another one, Yeah. So bring everybody back, because, the Harrison Ford. Harrison was, doing the Indiana Jones. So like, oh, shit, everybody's doing their thing. It's like, shit, now I got to bring everybody back and we're going to do another one. So 1978, you get Star Wars. 1980, you get Empire Strikes Back, and then 1983, 81, you get Empire Strikes Back, and then 1983, you get Return of the Jedi.
So, if you ask George Lucas, he always had the story.
He's like, I always had it. Yeah, right. Yeah.
But that's why, the first one, the relationship between Luke Skywalker and Leia is very awkward and weird once you find out later on.
Yeah, because they didn't really know to make them romantically kind of, So it was like, oh wow, but they kind of left that out there. I mean, good thing they didn't have them kissing at the end, because that would have been a way to end the movie, So I mean, but George Lucas, he had no plans on writing another one, and they were like,
I'm just thinking of all the characters, Boba Fett was the one that they were thinking.
Boba Fett,
and that toy is the holy grail.
That's the holy grail of all vintage vintage toys.
So I'm sorry, I'm gonna get off subject. Yeah. So you only deal in like action figure kind of toys. You don't deal in electronics like Nintendo.
Yeah. I'm actually just started getting into. I had a buddy of mine
because a vintage Nintendo could probably go.
Man, I'll tell you what. Now,
don't sleep.
Some of those games are. We're talking about vintage toys, of course, but now you're talking. I mean, some of those video games. Mike Tyson's Punch Out graded like a 9.4. went for like 75,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
Went for $1 million. One of the, which I don't know if you can consider them like vintage toys. Like video games is kind of like a separate. That's kind of its own separate kind of. Because that's a different collector. You know, I mean, you have toy guys and comic guys, and then you have your video game guys, which are just starting to come to the forefront. You know,
VHS
guys. So, video games. I mean, I think it was a Super Mario World, was Super Mario 3 or one of those games graded. It was a 1.1 million or Super Mario World.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson's Punch Out, I think it was that sold for $1 million or something, or 800,000. It was
something
graded,
ridiculous.
highest graded. I mean, sealed. No, was it the Super Mario Brothers? I think it was.
But is it so the Mike Tyson one? Is it because they originally were gonna launch it and then they
it was sealed. It was a sealed box, and this particular one, the way it was is that it was the way the tape over the box. It's in the box, but the way the tape goes over it was like the first edition.
So it was like really the real one.
It was the first edition of the Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Because I was watching that Hulu documentary on him, the Hulu series or whatever that he did.
The one that he didn't co-sign?
Did he not co-sign
that
one?
He didn't co-sign for that. No, he didn't co-sign for that.
Yeah, but I was trying to figure out, because as you're saying that, I remember there was one part where I guess they were about to launch that game.
Yeah.
And then the rape came out. And so then I think they switched it out, and they didn't launch it as Mike Tyson. They switched the character out and everything. And he didn't find out till he went to the store and tried to buy one, according to the thing. And then I think they later relaunched it.
Oh, wow.
Like I think maybe later because I think Mike Tyson's Punch Out came out before all of that rape stuff. I think it was like 89. What was that rape case? 89? Yeah.
Punch Out, I remember playing it.
Yeah, Punch Out's 87, I think it was. So it had a good run before.
I hate that game. I ain't gonna lie. Not because it's a horrible game. It's one of the hardest games I've ever played. Like I heard, like Tyson, like if you get to him, like he hits you and you're pretty much
there's
done.
one punch
and you gone.
Go on YouTube. There's guys that show you how to beat him. Yeah, it sucks because you gotta wait till he does his thing. Boom, and then he hits you, you're dead. You're just gone. You have to dodge him and punch him in the head, and then. Like you gotta block it and punch. There's like you block twice and punch. It's stupid, dumb. I remember I did that with Legend of Zelda, the original one, the gold cartridge. I was obsessed with that, dude. Obsessed with that game. 80.
How much is that going for?
Well, if you find one sealed, a few grand. Here's the thing that happened though. Here's the thing that happened in the late 80s with toys, especially. Not to find them in good condition, of course, but like with Ninja Turtles and stuff like. Okay, so. In the late 80s, you started getting like Comic Cons and like toy conventions where they started picking up like steam. You know what I'm saying? Like people were starting to go to them. Comic Con started becoming like something. They just weren't like in some like hotel, you know, like conference room. They started getting known. Yeah. And then in the late 80s, people started realizing, hey, there's value if you keep this shit in its package, you know?
Yeah.
Because, all the Star Wars stuff was opened. Everybody opened and played with it. So, unfortunately, like the turtle stuff, like I was telling you, right? Yeah. There's a lot of it still in the package. Like you can find a lot of those Nintendo games. You still find a few of them in packages, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of them in packages still. But where you get to the big money is like in the pristine condition. And when it comes to that with video games, because a lot of video games have the boxes. A lot of people kept the box. They kept the instructions. But when they're sealed, that's a different ball game, man. But because they were so damn expensive, who the hell's gonna pay $60 for a video game and not play it? You know what I'm saying? Like, who the hell? Who's gonna pay? Those video games are expensive. Remember that? You remember buying Nintendo games? It's like $70, man.
It's like buying a PS5 right now
and just keeping it sealed.
And waiting for 50 years.
Yeah,
to say,
exactly. Nobody did that. So you find like Legend of Zelda. If you can find the cartridge with the box and the instructions, all that, you're talking. Maybe $75. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But sealed, original sealed, with like the security warning and all that still on it. Yeah, now you're talking $1,000 probably. You're talking money. You're talking because collectors want that because nobody kept it close. But with toys, it was different. Toys were $4, $5. Yeah. So they would buy one for themselves and then one to open and play with. So you get a lot of toys from the 80s. Late 80s, early 90s. You still got a lot of them in package. Turtles, a ton of them. The 88 Turtles, there's a ton of them still in packages, man. So unfortunately, they're not like that unless they're like pristine condition, like they've never been touched. But
are they still in packages because people thought they were going to go up?
They were going to go up. But the only problem is like everybody kept one in a package. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of them. Go on eBay right now. You could probably find,
I think it's like
packaged.
Yeah, with the turtles, it's like you got to get like the weird, extreme, weird characters. Like, what's his name? Ace Duck. I think he's one of them.
Ace Duck. Yeah. And some of the figures didn't even make it on the cartoon. Like Scratch.
Yeah, Scratch.
Scratch never made it to the cartoon. You know what I'm saying? They made some figures of characters that never made it. So Scratch from that original run, he's a cat with like he's like a prisoner cat that has like what is it? He's got the striped uniform on. Yeah. He never made it on the cartoon. So he's pretty desirable because nobody bought it. Like, who's this guy? I don't know who this is. So a lot of them were either opened or trashed or, you know what I'm saying? So
all right. So who are the most interesting collectors? Do people typically collect just like a certain genre, like who? Just Ninja Turtles or Star Wars, or is it? Collect everything.
Well, Star Wars guy. Okay, so everybody's kind of like they've got their elites, right? So everybody, you get them in a room and they're all gonna try to outdo each other. You know what I'm saying? It's G.I. Joe guys and your Star Wars guys and your Transformers guys. They're gonna. I mean, because there's the purists. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's. Like I said, I was talking to one guy today that's all Transformers, and he knows every single little number. If you flip open this guy's arm and you look under his elbow, there's going to be a little dot, and there's going to be another dot here, and then right right above his eye, there's going to be a number. Okay, that guy knows every single thing of every Transformer. They're gonna sometimes look down at each other. You know what I'm saying? Transformers or G.I. Joe. Oh, but that's just G.I. Joe. You know what I'm saying? That's just. There's no working parts. And then the G.I. Joe's going to look at the Star Wars guys and be like, oh, those are just like little figures, you know. G.I. Joe's where it's at. We had the more intricate play sets. And the Star Wars guy is going to be like, yeah, but we're the ones who started it all. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Yeah. They're all going to be kind of, I love them all. I love all the guys. I mean, I love, but your Star Wars guys, your Star Wars purists, and there's like to them, there's nothing else. Yeah. And then you have your Transformers guys. You walk in to them, there's nothing else. And then you have your G.I. Joe guys. To them, there's nothing else. You know what I'm saying? That's just so everybody's in their camp, and I love it when they all get together because it's like I said, it's great. It's battle royale, man. Yeah, I love it.
I was talking about
it's kind of like a one up. It's kind of like one up. Everybody's trying to one up each other. It's great.
I was telling my brother when I was in the UK, I got him this Ninja Turtle thing that I guess this guy made. And the guy was telling me like he made a full size Optimus Prime out of metal that he was shipping to the U.S. He said it was half a ton.
Oh gosh.
He said it was going in like 6 different boxes to be reassembled over there. They sold it to some guy in the U.S.
That's what I'm saying, man.
And it was ridiculous. Like he showed me the box, and like one box looked like it was bigger than taller than the ceiling here, and it was just like his leg or something. It was weird.
Then. Speaking of UK, now you're getting into like European exclusives too with toys. That's another because like not all the toys are just made in the US. Star Wars toys, they made them in Spain, they made them in Argentina, and some of them have like the different La Guerra de los Galácticos. You know what I'm saying? Like so, it's an actual Star Wars licensed Lucasfilm licensed figure, but it's in Spanish. You know what I'm saying? So that's and then the French versions. There's French. I'm not gonna even attempt to say it, but the French, you know, they have their version. So now you get into those Star Wars collectors, like they have to have every version of each one. You know what I'm saying? Like Luke, Argentina.
You brought like an exclusive. Like I'm a Turtle fan, and I'm in a group chat. And they're Turtle fans, and when I told them about it, they're like, "I've never seen that," and I was like, "I've never seen it either." So I was like, "I didn't even know it was real."
I brought a couple of things here. So this is like, so if you look at this figure here, this is Splinter, right? This is Splinter, and he looks like the original, right? This is a 1995 Splinter. So if you look at it, it's carded, right? And what happens is that. They made the original Turtles from '88, and then they made the movie Turtles, and then they made the Shogun Turtles, and then this was their first attempt to remake the originals. Right? They said they had made already the movie Turtles and the soccer Raph and the all the different kinds of turtles.
Yeah,
so
many turtles.
This is mid '90s. This was like really their first attempt to remake the '88 run. Yeah. So here you see a Splinter, right? You see a Master Splinter. Here you'll see a Baxter Stockman, right? You see Baxter Stockman, all right? And then, and that, again, they're identical to the originals, the original 88 run, pretty much. But then I brought another one. Then you get these oddities.
This is the one.
Then you get these oddities. Let me take the price tag off though, because I'm not gonna show the price, but it's very expensive. This is like an oddity. All right, this is a metalhead, Michelangelo metalhead. Now this is a very rare. This from that second run of the mid '90s. This is probably the most rare figure.
Yeah.
Now mint on card. This one goes. I mean, I think the last price on eBay sold was like $850. I think it was.
That's wild.
So this is a very rare. In fact, Super 7 is going to actually remake this one. Just type in, go to Google, type in Super 7, Mikey Metalhead, and they're going to actually put it in an ultimate box. They're making it. So a lot of people actually don't even know about this figure.
Yeah, I didn't know about it.
And when you look at the prices on them, if you look at the prices for them and mint on card, and I buy these pretty cool cases for it.
Yeah.
But you got to case it up, man. I mean, honestly. But mint on card like this, you're looking at.
So what makes it so rare? They only make so many of them.
So many. Production, this is usually this is right around the end of the line, 95. So production. So if sales aren't going great, and this was kind of like in 95,
so the end of
Turtles,
like, Turtle Mania.
This was kind of like the end of the Turtle Mania, 95, 90, 94, 95, kind of. So all the people that fell in love with Turtles in the 80s, they were already graduating high school, right? So they were done kind of with Turtles for, they were done for that moment. Yeah. So sales weren't actually, they weren't that great. So production, these weren't really made they didn't really make that many. It was very rare, very collectible, very desirable by turtle collectors.
Is it just the Michelangelo one, or are there other ones of the other turtles?
Yeah, this is probably the most valuable and most sought after one from that second run. Okay. Probably one of the most sought after ones is the Scratch, of course, from the Scratch, and then the monster turtles. They did the Universal Monsters. Yeah. So all the turtles they did like a Raph, as I think it was Michelangelo was. Or Donatello was Frankenstein.
I think Raph was
the Wolfman, or was it Dracula? Michelangelo was the Wolfman. So they did him as like a crossover with the Universal Monsters. Okay. Those in package can be a few $100 in package. You know what I'm saying? Those are pretty desirable only because the Universal Monster stuff. They did a crossover, and they did several crossovers with like Star Trek. Those can be in mint in package, a couple $100.
Nice.
But from that run, this is probably one of the more desirable and probably most valuable from that mid '90s run. This is probably that one. And like I said, the last sold.
We were all
what the heck? Yeah, I wanted to bring it to show it. This one, like I said, last sold on eBay for this one. You want to check it out? Mint on card. I think it's like $850. Wow, $850 with shipping and everything. It was like $900 for this one.
Nice.
Well worth.
And then you got the
Krang.
Krang, that's a good one too, man. That one
that was like a personal holy grail for me because Dad had got me one when we were kids. Remember he used to have that van that he would have for the dropping guys and everything, and it broke down. And I had my Krang in there, and Dad's like, "Take off all your toys," because I gotta take it to the shop. I didn't listen. I left that Krang in there, and they
stole it. It was gone.
Well, they totaled the truck, like the van or whatever. Like it didn't come back. So when I was like, "What happened to the van?" He's like, "Oh no, they had a total there or whatever." And I was like,
"Oh,
I left my toys." He's like, "I told you." I was like, "I've never." So, and that's a rare for me. And then he found the '94 one. So I was like,
on card,
on card. Yeah, I have it at home right now.
So action figures, whenever they say on card, that means in the package.
Okay.
Yeah, so you like a lot of people when they say mint on card or like on card means on, because the package they always say it's a card. Like,
it is.
Like the cardboard in the back. So it's So when they say on card, it means in package.
That's cool.
That's what that's industry jargon.
Yeah, like we usually say like. Buy one to pop, buy one to stock.
That's it.
Yeah.
And you can afford to do that,
Yeah.
But to find Nintendo Entertainment Systems in box sealed. Yeah, you're talking 10, 15, 20,000. Yeah. I mean, Game Boys sealed. Yeah. The Game Boys are $100 back in the day,
Oh yeah.
If you bought one to say, I mean, you're talking a few $1,000s for a sealed one.
You would have to find a warehouse or somewhere where they put their extra inventory that someone forgot about.
It just happened. that people have found like warehouses and they've opened. What the heck, you know? Like a whole warehouse full of stuff, man. And,
Nintendo was going near bankrupt for a while, so they wouldn't be surprised if they didn't let go of a warehouse or somewhere.
Just let in some in the Midwest, right? There's some warehouse they just let go.
Yeah,
and stuff still sitting in there in boxes sealed.
Never know.
I've heard people find like whole packages of cards just because that place shut down and they just left them.
Yeah, they just leave them there. They abandoned it. It's easier to do. So as we're closing out, I know we talked a lot about the vintage, more of the holy grails and stuff, but like if someone's shopping for somebody or looking for a Christmas gift and they know, spouse, friend, whatever, is looking for toys, like what other things do you have at your shop?
Yeah, I've got a mixture of like a current stuff too. I mean, like some of the new stuff too. I mean, I order like with the things I know that people are gonna like the retro series. There's for your Spider-Man fans, G.I. Joe. There's a new run of a Hasbro line. It's called the Classified. It's a 6-inch G.I. Joes. They come in like these deluxe boxes. They're pretty good. And they're really nice, really articulate. A bunch of, I think it's like 16 points of articulation. Wrist, arms, elbow, knees, ankles. So they're pretty cool. They come with weapons and everything. So those for your G.I. Joe fan, those are cool. They're modern stuff. For your vintage fan too, I've got stuff too. I've got Funko Pops. Oh god, fun. San Antonio's such a huge Funko Pop market. It's crazy, you know. Yeah. I mean, I look at the threads, and a lot of the other cities like we're done with pops. Nobody cares. But San Antonio's still a really big. Those little Funko figures. I think you had one here. Some of the little Funko Pop figures.
Got one right there.
Yeah, that's
got
crazy.
a few over there.
Yeah.
So definitely, if someone's looking for a toy or something, definitely go by the shop.
Come by Atomic Toys and More. Atomic Toys and More. We've got cards.
Comics.
We got comics, Pokemon cards, sports cards, toys, action figures, new stuff, old stuff, pops.
It's definitely worth a look and a unique. So something different and unique. So definitely try to get out there and check it out. I mean, Toys R Us is gone, so you're not going to Toys R Us.
Yeah,
man.
I went to the Toys R Us the other night. Have you been to the new Toys R Us that they made at Macy's?
Oh, I didn't even know they had made a new one at Macy's.
Oh gosh. Okay, I understand why they did it. I know they want to. I know Toys R Us is trying to come back. I think it's too late. I think
they didn't adapt quick enough.
I mean, honestly, you got Walmart that has a collector section now. Yeah. Target has a collector section now. I mean,
and then Amazon has everything else.
Amazon has everything else, and eBay has it. So I mean, Target. I mean, the Toys R Us, and then you get there. There's stuff everywhere. Nothing is priced. You have, the people there that work at. And God bless you guys that work at Macy's. If you work there, you guys, I know you guys are you're stretched to the limit right now, and then they ask you to zone toys. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you ever. I worked retail, so when they call zone something, like you zone a department, which means you front face all the stuff, make sure it's all nice and neat. I mean, there's toys everywhere. They're on the floor. There's gaps. I mean, there's stuff. I mean, and the people that work at Macy's. I mean, like I said, retail. I know retail. I like large scale, like big retail chains like that. I know they ask a lot of the workers there already, and then they, hey, guess what? We're gonna bring in a toy section. Like, oh my gosh, with little bitty
just another thing
on the bot. I mean, and there, it's it doesn't look the way I think. Yeah, it's tough.
I used to work at Garden Ridge.
Yeah,
because I'm a big guy. They always put me in like the heavier stuff, and part of the heavier stuff was the art, and that was the worst because the way Garden Ridge wanted it's at home now. But the way they want it is they want the smallest art in the front and then the biggest ones in the back.
Yeah.
So when I was scaling, I would have to because people, they grab the art and they're not like, oh, let me put the small one back. They just like
put it back.
So I had to go every single morning and fix it and fix it and fix it. And then even with the mirrors, like no one ever wanted the bottom mirrors. They always want that one up here, and the mirrors were like,
can you get that? You're like,
and it's like this stack of mirrors. So I'm like, yeah.
Oh man.
And I put it back, and then they're like, make sure that you put the biggest mirrors in the back, and then I'm like, all right, dude. Like, so it sucks. I can imagine like little toys this big, and then
can you imagine? And there's it's about 3-4 people per floor at Macy's. I mean they're. And we went last night, my wife and I, doing Christmas shopping, and behind the checkout desk, I'm talking about mounds of returns. And it was like 2 ladies working it. I was like, oh, these poor ladies. I know what it feels like. I know. And then the rack was full, because when people try stuff on, They come, I'm not gonna take this.
Yeah, and
the rack behind them was full all the way. They had to
take those all and put them back.
And put them back on the. Oh my gosh! I was like, no, poor things, man.
It's crazy because I feel like people are getting more trashy now.
And then right now, like you don't have the manpower. You know, a lot of these places are just
short staff.
Everywhere's short staff. Yeah.
I was at a Target 2 months ago before like even this rush of like buying presents and everything. And everything was on the floor or on like, if they have like a little stand right here, it's just throwing. No one re-racks anything or folds it back. They just throw it.
Yeah,
I literally was seeing clothes on the
people,
floor.
right? The shoppers, right?
Yeah, the shoppers were the ones dropping it, and I'm like, I want to see that shirt, but it's probably dirty because it's on the floor now. It's like it was rowdy. Yeah.
So as we close out, any last words to our guests, or I mean to the viewers on toys or anything where they can find you guys again?
Yeah, man, we're gonna we're at 1023 Rittiman Road here in San Antonio, Texas. We're over there by Rittiman and Harry Wurzbach, and then just on Instagram at Atomic Toys and More, or Facebook Atomic Toys and More. You know, just check us out.
Why not?
We haven't done a Whatnot show in a while, but
Whatnot.
That's a whole other show. We'll talk about Whatnot, but yeah, definitely give us send us a message. And if you guys are looking for anything, just message me. You know, we'll see what we have it.
Yeah, we'll have the contact information in the description, and then you also have a podcast as well that you guys are doing.
Yeah, we do a podcast. Yeah, it's a toy cast. You know what I'm saying? I get people to come on. Maybe get some of you guys on too, man, at some point.
Yeah.
But definitely we talk about toys and current events, stuff like that. You know, we had a big thing for when Kevin Conroy passed away. That was a big deal, so we had people messaging and when you're on the show talking about it, and then we had cosplayers come on, and we've had some, and like some of my employees would sit there and talk about toys or what's happening, and it was actually pretty cool, man. We have a good time, and
nice.
A lot of people like it, so
cool.
Hit them up.
Cool. All right. Well, with that, hey, appreciate you coming on and
indeed
giving us some info on toys and stuff.
Thanks for having me, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Thanks,
man.
Yeah, and with that,
local love is forever.